here. My name is Colin Wallace. I'm the CEO of the Austin Parks Foundation. We've been the presenting partner of the Austin City Limits Music Festival for the last 13 years. I'd like to extend a special thanks to our mayor and city council members, Alter, Poole, Tovo, and Ellis, for joining us today to share some really fantastic news. I'd be remiss if I weren't here talking about live music in parks if I didn't say happy birthday to Willie Nelson, who has been an integral part of the festival over the years. And now I'd like to introduce a great friend to live music in Austin and also to our parks, Mayor Steve Adler.
So we're here on a beautiful Austin day, a little cloudy, but it's cool, and the breeze is blowing, and we're in a park, and here we're in a park that has a great playscape for children and communities, and it really is just a moment to stop for a second and think about what it is that makes this kind of thing possible. This kind of stuff happens in part when we have bond elections in November, and voters go to the ballot box, and we approve things as a community to get things done, and that's a great way. We have a lot of things that happen in this city, but there's a lot that happens in this city other ways. There's a lot that happens in this city when the private entities, the businesses, the corporations, the philanthropists in our community also help and participate in making sure that this city preserves what it is that's special about this place. It's everybody pitching in, and it is not government operating by itself. In fact, government can't do near everything that we need to have done. Excuse me. So we're here today to recognize one of those chief things that happens in our city that is really one of our engines that makes our quality of life what it is. We're here to recognize today that the 2018 Austin City Limits Music Festival contributed about $264 million to our Austin economy. And that's a huge thing. That's an increase of over $10 million from what this event did for our community just a year earlier in 2017. That is the equivalent of having about 3,000 jobs in our city. Since 2006, ACL Fest has generated nearly $2 billion of economic activity in the city of Austin. That's the equivalent of creating about 21,600 jobs in our city. So the Austin City Limits Music Festival is a world-renowned event. It brings people from all over the globe to enjoy our city. People all over the globe coming into our city and spending money in our city for our businesses in our city, contributing to the hotel tax that we use to fund arts and historic preservation in our city. And it all happens at a really grand scale in just 2 weekends in early October. This festival continues to be a major contributor to our economy, for jobs, for the labor income, for everything that it makes happen. The ACL Fest ticket sales, along with the important partnership with the Austin Parks Foundation. So this event has contributed to the parks in our community over $25 million since this relationship began. Just last year, this event raised over $5 million for parks all over our city. We're real appreciative of having the event. My girls, regular attendees, and they bring friends over. We've had our living room filled the first 2 weeks of October with kids from all over the country sleeping on the floor and attending the event. But beyond that, This is the kind of event that helps prime our economy, and this is a special event that, in addition to paying the fees in the city, and in addition to paying to repurpose and to fix the wear and tear on the park after an event, above and beyond all that, still gives us about $5 million in contributions that we spend in parks all over our city, including the playscape here at Rendon Park that serves as the backdrop. So I want to thank the folks with ACL Fest for being such an important and foundational component of our civic community. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor Adler, and thank you for all you guys do here, Mayor, Council, Colin, Parks and Recreation Department. I wanted to take a minute to talk about our Austin Parks and Recreation Department. We all know that Austin is the fastest growing community in America. I'm not sure how long that has been going on, but I like to think that the number one factor in that growth is the quality of life here. Probably the most important part of that quality of life is our green space. You know, music is great, but I think our green space, and most specifically the green space managed by the Austin Parks and Recreation Department, is the most important part of our quality of life. So I'd like to take a minute to talk about some of our Parks and Recreation Departments, the people that are responsible for managing that. About 20 years ago, then Mayor Kirk Watson and Parks and Recreation Department Director Jesus Olivares, they supported a vision to create a cultural event that could support and give back to our community for years to come, and help launch the Austin City Limits Music Festival. Fast forward a few years, Parks and Recreation Department, Warren Struess, supported and negotiated a construction project which is now is known as the Great Lawn, or the Great Green Lawn at Zilker Park. And even in drought years, if you could look above the city, that is the greenest spot in the city, and it is used 365 days a year. Moving on to our current, or excuse me, I guess we're about to lose her, Director, Parks and Recreation Department Director Sarah Hensley, helped negotiate along with the Austin Parks Foundation, a way to really give back to our city. Between Colin and Sarah, they helped renegotiate a lucrative deal for the City of Austin, for the Austin Parks and Recreation Department, and for the Austin Parks Foundation, that since its inception has contributed more than $35 million to our park system. That's something to be really proud of. We're thankful to be a part of it, and we look forward to many, many more years. As I said, Sarah Hensley is going to be accepting a job in Denton as the city manager. So all of us at C3 and the Austin City Limits Music Festival, thank you for her commitment to service here in the city and what she's done for us and our parks. And with that, I'd like to take this opportunity and present the 2018 Austin City Limits Music Festival's contribution to the city of Austin.
So I probably should have introduced you for the meeting. This is
That's
Charlie
right.
Jones with C3. You know, companies do these kinds of things, but they only really happen when there's a true individual or champion to help make this happen. And Charlie, you are that for us with C3, and the city is very appreciative. Thank
Thanks.
you.
So on behalf of C3, all the Charlies, all our staff at Austin City Limits Music Festival, we would like to present the City of Austin, the Austin Parks and Recreation Department, and the Austin Parks Foundation with $5,083,939 for use in programs, projects, and our Austin parks. Sure.
Let's stand over here so I can get a picture.
Whoa.
reach down so everybody can, yeah, drop it down a little.
Nice check, Charlie.
Yeah.
You did a great job.
Good morning.
Yes. Let's put it in front of
I'm Liana Kalivoka, Assistant Director with the Austin Parks and Recreation Department, and I'm thrilled to be here with you this morning. This year marks the 14th anniversary of the partnership between Austin Parks Foundation and Austin City Limits Music Festival. We so often hear about the impact of the event itself as thousands of people enjoy Zilker every year. But the event means so much more for the city than the economic benefit. And this partnership reaches far beyond the 2 weekends in the fall. As the mayor mentioned already, more than $35 million have been invested in parks citywide throughout this period in the parks. The list of parks that have benefited is expansive, and these parks include Parque Zaragoza, Montopolis, Dick Nichols, Davis White, Northeast, Pastor Craig, the Barton Creek, Greenbelt, Mount Bonnell, Dove Springs, and so many more. And these are places that Austinites visit and enjoy every day, throughout the year. And these places have been made better, and they have been improved through this partnership. So on behalf of the City of Austin and the Austin Parks and Recreation Department, we would like to thank our partners for their commitment to Austin Parks and for helping keep Austin the live music capital of the world. Thank you. So many thanks.
Thank you, Liana. Thank you, Charlie. I just want to echo what the mayor said, which is huge thanks to Charlie, and Charles, and everybody at C3, an incredible local company that is putting on world-class events. I know I speak for the city and the Parks Foundation when I say we are truly honored to be a part of this partnership. I would be remiss if I didn't say a huge thank you to the fans of Austin City Limits Music Festival, because a portion of every ticket that they buy goes back directly into our parks. This park that we're sitting in right now, Edward Rendon, a great example of a playscape and a shade structure over at Martin Pool that have happened directly because of the Austin City Limits Music Festival. So shade structures, playground replacements, trails, grants for local communities, and on and on and on are happening in hundreds of parks all over Austin thanks to one amazing event. And here today to speak a little bit about some of those projects are our council members. And I am honored to introduce a good friend and a great friend of our parks, Council Member Leslie Poole.
Thanks, Colin. Thanks, everybody, for being here today. And I think I'm hearing, is that a mockingbird that is serenading us in the trees here? I think that might be who's visiting us here. I guess we're visiting the mockingbird. So I want to talk a little bit about District 7. You all are familiar with Northwest District Park. It was named after longtime beloved Parks and Rec Department Director Beverly S. Sheffield some years ago. And it is one of not only District 7's most beloved public green spaces, but it serves that way for the entire city. ACL Fest funding will provide a facelift to the park. It'll revitalize our tennis and basketball courts and provide money for maintenance of the most basic amenities like picnic tables and trash cans, All of these are important elements of a well-functioning, attractive, and welcoming city park. District 7 is a few miles away from Zilker Park, where the festival is held, but still we are so grateful to all of the fans who purchased the tickets for ACL Fest that make this park donation possible. You're allowing all of Austin to benefit from this event, and to all the fans of Austin City Limits, we cannot thank you enough. Thank you so much as well to the Austin Parks Foundation for the partnership with the City of Austin, and to outgoing Parks Director Sarah Hensley, who we're losing to Denton. She has done a remarkable job leading the way for our Parks Department. She's taught me a lot in the few years that I've been on council, and I so appreciate her work and her legacy. So thank you, Sarah. And now it's my pleasure to introduce Paige Ellis, who is my colleague representing District 8. Paige.
Thank you so much, Leslie. I am Paige Ellis. I am the Austin City Council member representing District 8, which is so lucky to have Zilker Park in its district. I could not be prouder to be a part of a district that hosts such an amazing event like ACL Fest, and I'm so happy to be able to support our park systems throughout the city. I'm so proud of the City of Austin Parks and Recreation Department in collaboration with Austin Parks Foundation, ACL Fest, and C3. This is just such an exciting and wonderful event for the live music capital of the world. And District 8 is home to ACL Fest, and with this we have seen a huge investment in our district from the festival, including more than $2.5 million in Zilker Park lawn restoration and tree care. 2018 ACL Fest proceeds will be put towards the planning for the Austin Nature and Science Center, which is almost immediately adjacent to ACL Fest. And I was lucky to participate in the Austin Parks Foundation It's My Park Day that we had just a few weeks ago. And so I got to see firsthand of all the amazing work that's happening in the Austin Nature and Science Center. It is going to need thoughtful and thorough planning to ensure programs and facilities meet the needs of our city's diverse and growing population. And with these funds, we hope the Austin Nature and Science Center will continue to be one of Austin's most beloved destinations. And if you haven't gotten a chance yet to go see it, you really should. It is an amazing place for people of all ages and all abilities to educate themselves and have a little bit of fun. And with that, I will introduce my colleague, Councilmember Tovo.
Hi, it's great to be here with you today to talk a little bit about the impact of these funds on parks, as you heard, throughout our entire city. So thank you so much to ACL and to the Parks Foundation for making possible these programs and these really exciting initiatives. In District 9, one of the parks that will be benefiting is the Alliance Children's Garden. And as many of you know, this is a long-term vision of this community. The neighborhood and the community members worked so closely with the Parks Department over the years to craft a vision of a world-class children's garden in the heart of Butler Park. And I was excited to be there on the day that they started construction of the Alliance Children's Garden. It is going to have lots of different features. It's largely constructed with native materials and built into the landscape of that area just south of Lady Bird Lake. It is really going to help us live out our vision of becoming the most family-friendly city in the nation. And so, you know, as downtown continues to grow and to change and to attract more residents, and we see so many more people coming and enjoying our downtown and residing or visiting the areas around downtown, you know, we need those places to go and recreate and to gather as a community. And I'm really excited that the Alliance Children's Garden is a beneficiary of these funds. Thank you, Charlie and ACL and our Parks Department and the Parks Foundation for making possible these kinds of collaborations. Everyone in our city is benefiting, as you heard, and that's a really exciting way to go about it. I would now like to introduce my colleague, Councilmember Alter. As many of you know, Councilmember Alter has been an advocate for the parks in this community since before she became a council member. So without further ado, Councilmember Allison Alter.
Good morning. In District 10, we are fortunate to have lots of wonderful preserved lands, and this year's opportunities with these grants will fund preserved land, which will help us to maintain habitats, to help us restore and maintain our natural features like our caves, our streams, and provide opportunities for children and adults alike to get out into nature. That's what we're funding this year. I have the great fortune to have been involved with APF and these ACL grants as a grant recipient, as someone who's helped other folks get grants. And yesterday, within less than 24 hours ago, I was helping with a groundbreaking for another project. And so first, I want to say thank you. And I want to point out that it's not just the really big grants like for the Alliance Garden that matter. Those $25,000, $50,000 grants that ACL works with APF to provide help communities to transform their parks all over the city. I was involved about 5 years ago with the Ramsey Park renovation, and we got a $50,000 grant that allowed us to leverage hundreds of thousands more of grants. The APF ACL grant provides kind of a stamp of approval that lets you go out to your funders and say, this is legitimate, we can do this, this is something we can do for our community. That's not something that we capture, easily when we talk about these grants. We talk about the playscapes, we talk about the tennis courts, we talk about the basketball courts. These sets of grants have a fundamental impact on our communities. It shows people that they can go out and they can advocate, they can make an investment in their community collectively, along with the nonprofit, along with ACL, and along with the city, and they can make the community be whatever it is they want it to be. So I would like to thank you, Charlie, and ACL for making these investments and having the vision to see how important our parks are, how important they are as community spaces, as places we go into nature, and ways that we as a community come together. So thank you all for being here, and thank you, ACL.
Thank you, Councilmember Alter. With that, we're going to wrap it up. One last thing I just wanted to make sure and point out is tickets are on sale tomorrow, and the lineup will be released at aclfestival.com. Until then, any questions about the lineup can be directed towards Charlie. He may or may not answer them. Thank you all very much.